Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today we are going to be reviewing the 9.2 way too early tier list that I did last November. The MDI is just wrapping up, we've had the Race to World First finish, and we're kind of starting to see a much clearer picture of where the tanks are sitting within the meta for Mythic Plus, how good they are for rating, if you're planning on doing any more Mythic content or things like that, and all of that fun stuff. So let's talk a little bit more about the tanks in general. Before we get started, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Please subscribe. It goes such a long way to everything, really. This community has been growing so well, and I cannot do it without you. Much appreciation to absolutely everybody for all the support that has been going on. My guild Bloodstorm is currently recruiting DPS. I think we have enough healers now, so we're looking for DPS for quite a few different roles. So if that's something that interests you to join an AOTC crew, there's a guild link down below, as well as the Mazarok community Discord link, which is both for the Bloodstorm guild and my community. If you're just looking for a fun, positive community to be in as well and ask questions, don't be afraid to go in there and chit chat. It's been a very active, very fun place to be. So there's that. There's a Twitch link down below. Click that if you like to watch people stream. Pretty simple. And yeah, let's get into it. So let's go into the old tier list first. So let's take a look at this. I had Protection Paladin, Bear, Blood Decay, and Vengeance all in A tier. This is where I had them before, and I had Protection Warrior and Brewmaster in B tier. Alright, so Brewmaster was in B tier because their tier bonus at the time when we were talking about this way too early tier set was just literal dog water. It was absolutely terrible. And I had said if their tier set got a rework, that they would definitely shoot up. And my goodness, did they shoot up. So the way we're going to work at the tiers here, S tier is basically every single comp absolutely has this one tank. There's no way you can tank without it in high keys. There's no way that you can do anything without this one specific tank. A tier, great in all content, fantastic all around, very popular to be played. Any pug will be happy to take them. B tier is, they're good, but they're just not good enough. C tier, I'm sorry, you need a little bit more work, but you're still playable. D tier is completely unplayable. That's the way we're going to work this. So S tier is going to be very difficult. For example, Vengeance Demon Hunter was basically S tier in Season 1 of Shadowlands because you had to go like 4 pages to find any other tank in the highest keys accomplished, basically. So that's the idea of S tier. It's going to be something that's very difficult to beat. But Brewmaster, with their 4-piece, shot up high A tier, A+. Man, these guys are solid. The 4-piece got fixed. Their damage is incredible. Their survivability with that 4-piece rework got even better. If you're playing Brewmaster, you're in a fantastic position right now. I am getting my 4-piece on Tuesday, and I am absolutely excited to rip some keys with Brewmaster. So, like I had said in that video, for that, if tier set got reworked, they'd be better. Well, my goodness, I have to say I was right, because they are incredible right now. Prot Warrior. Now, Prot Warrior is one that I've had quite a bit of playtime with. I have the 4-piece. I have the double legendaries. I have quite a bit of experience playing with it, and I think it is a lot of fun. The issue with it is the magic damage survivability. There's just certain packs in certain dungeons that crush you. Just crush you because you can't do DPS because you're basically spamming Ignore Pain. because you're taking so much incoming magic damage at once. And I don't mean, hey, here's 60% of your health is magic damage, although that does happen. It's no, here's 5% of your health being taken off 25 times in 5 seconds. And things like that in higher keys, you're just spamming ignore pain to stay alive, or basically shield walling, which changes the way you play and makes it not as fun. I think the base playstyle is there. I just still think they need a little bit of rework. I had them in B tier last time. I'm being super scrutinizing here as well. Can I put a little asterisk on this? If you're going for 15s, literally, if you're going to time 15s and you just want to have fun and play whatever tank you want, and you're not in 25s and 26s, this is the tier list for every single tank. Let's be very clear on that. This is the tier list for every single tank until you start getting up into 24s and 25s, okay? So please take that into account. But when we're scrutinizing what they're capable of in higher levels, in mythic raid content, in things like that, we have to start getting into the little nitty gritty. And unfortunately, as fun as Prot Warrior is, I have to put it in C tier. I have a struggle pugging with this in 15s because they have a terrible meta list because of these tier meta view because of these tier lists. They're absolutely playable. They're a lot of fun, but they do need work. Actually, I'd say high C tier. I'm being a little mean to Prot Warrior here, and I love Prot Warrior. And this is I'm probably being mean to Prot Warrior here because I want them to get buffed. They need something. The buff to them defensively with their demo shout, the spell reflect, CD reduce, really good. Steps in the right direction, but the problem is with the dungeon design and how Prot Warrior mitigates damage. And in Dragonflight or in future content, if they continue with the sort of dungeon design now and they do not change the talents or the base kit for how Prot Warrior mitigates magic damage, I'm still not a fan of the ignore pain. I have officially hit 10k HPS on a Prot Warrior in a dungeon this tier with the 4-piece and how much ignore pain you can ignore damage. It's unnecessary to have to spam this one button to be able to reduce half the amount of incoming damage when other classes just take care of it so better. They need some sort of self-heal. Maybe make like impending victory baseline. They need maybe some sort of change to spell reflect where it lasts a full 6 seconds with how they've been designing dungeons. Something's got to change there, but I think they are a high C tier. Prot Paladin. So this is one of the funnest tanks that I've been playing in Shadowlands since 9.1. Honestly, I'm kind of mad it took me this long to pick it up. The double legendaries, the synergy with everything, with Kyrian, so you got your Seal of the Righteous, the Righteous Fury legendary, Divine Resonance. The amount of Shield of the Righteous damage going out in AoE is absurd. I have absolutely peaked at 80, 90, 100k, pulling 12k overall in a run, just blasting and feeling like great. It's the nice thing here is you get to blast but don't feel like you're giving up. This is the big difference between Prot Warrior and Protection Paladin. You can blast on Prot Warrior, but to do so, you're giving up a lot defensively because you get to blow your rage on revenges during these nice big burst windows. Protection Paladin, when you burst, you actually gain things defensively with the first Avenger's talent. The more Shield of the Righteous that you go up, the more damage that happens, but then you get your Word of the Glory procs, which allow you to heal. But at the same time, the more Avenger Shields you got going out with Divine Toll and just the Avenger Shield and the Divine Resonance, the bigger of an Absorb Shield you get. So by doing more damage on Prot Paladin, you gain more defensiveness versus Protection Warrior. The more damage that you do, the less defensiveness that you gain. that's one of the core differences here, and this makes Prot Paladin. I originally had Prot Paladin in the higher A tier, definitely like close to S. I think with how everything's come along, I think Brewmaster definitely beats them out a little bit. There definitely are strengths where Prot Paladin is better. This is something that I hear a lot, and when some people watch my videos, they're like, I suggest one thing, but I'm like, hey, this is the baseline, but this is also cool. They're like, no, you never take the what, this is also cool in hyper-specific scenarios. Dude, relax. Like, I said that the main talent was the thing. Whatever. And I think in certain scenarios, Protection Paladin is better, but Brewmaster has just been turned around to be all-around fantastic in all scenarios and all content. My co-tank is a Brew, and what he's capable of just naturally surviving in the raid, for example, versus where I actually have to work and plan around is actually quite staggering. Pardon the pun there. But we were just doing Rygalon, and I'm taking 10k damage a second, and he's taking 15, and I know he feels a lot safer than I do on Rygalon than on my Prot Paladin, where I actually have to try and manage my defensives. He's just having a good old time with heavy stagger and just blasting away. So there are some things where Protection Paladin is better, but Brewmaster has definitely taken a little bit of the lead is per the tier here. Blood Death Knight. Now, Blood Death Knight, I had originally in the A tier, it was Prot Paladin, Bear, Blood, and Vengeance, in that order. Blood Death Knight, highest of the A tier right now. They are incredibly tanky. If you've watched any bit of the MDI going on, you are seeing some insane things happen with Blood Death Knight. Because the issue with BDK before was not necessarily survivability. Getting instantly global was always a problem, especially in the much higher keys that you end up pushing towards the end of the season or things like that. And that was always definitely a worry. But the tier set fixes their damage because that's where they were lackluster. BDK DPS was in the dumps. Basically all of Shadowlands. It was never a question about survivability. I've been playing this as an alt tank basically since 9.0. Like, Prot Warrior went up first, BDK went up second, and that's just the way that I viewed it, and I kept going forward that way. Survivability has never been an issue for BDK. You had to work a little bit harder at it at the beginning of the expansion in 9.1, but as you got geared, it was kind of a joke. Now, I'm going into 17s right now, crushing 30, 25, 30k HPS, and not even feeling like I'm in danger, and I'm competitive on the damage meters. And I mean competitive, to the point where I've been third a lot with some good players. And it all kind of works with the Kyrian, Shackle the Worthy, and all that fun stuff. BDK is one of those things where they're either... because they're incredibly difficult to tune. They are either not great or overpowered for what they're doing. And right now, they're overpowered. And I don't mean overpowered in a, oh my god, you have to nerf them kind of way. Because you don't. They're in a super good spot. They are still very technical to play. So you want to make sure that you are playing it correctly. Because the thing of getting global instantly, if you screw up, if you don't use your opener correctly or things like that, can absolutely still happen. Without a doubt. So you need to play this tank very, very well and know what you're doing. But man, once you get set up and you get rolling and you got the runic power generation going and it's just death striking and your health is going from 100 to 30 to 100 to 30 to 100 to 20 to 100 to 40, just back and forth like that, and you're just crushing those damage meters, giving your healer the heart attack, and you're like, I'm good, man. Life is fine. Let's go. Let's crush it. And you're like pulling 20, 25, 30k DPS on a pull and like all of that, and you're topping all of the damage meters. Life is just fine. So Vengeance Demon Hunter. Now their set got a nerf, and this I had anticipated. I had put them in the lower bracket of A tier. And with their tier set was cracked out broken. We all knew it was going to get a nerf with no doubt at all that that was going to happen, and we were correct. And they did it well. They nerfed it well enough where people thought it was going to be worse than what they are. And if you look at the rankings now, as of today, Sunday the 24th, when I looked, VDH has the highest IO #1 tank in the world. Now, there's Brewmasters, there's BDKs, there's Vengeance, there's Prot Paladins in there. The only two that you got to go look a little bit further is Bear and Prot Warrior. But I think my placement of the low A tier, and I don't mean like low A tier, like they're bad. No, like they're absolutely solid. They are squishy if you don't know how to play them right, and you need to. And one problem I see with a lot of Vengeance Demon Hunters is they don't kite at all, ever. And you need to kite a little bit more with VDH. If you've got no defensives out, you are just paper. And you need to kite. And you have the ability to do so. You've got your double jump wings. You've got your jumps that you can save to get away. Sigil of Chains, although you should be working with quicken sigils. But if there's the Sigil of Cowering or whatever there, the Misery Sigil, you have the means to kite, and you should absolutely be doing that so your heals does not have to dump single target heals into you, and you can just kind of use some sigils at a distance, your glaives and stuff to keep threat. You have the means to do so, but in all honesty, these 4 tanks right now are so close, it's unreal. Solid, solid, solid. In fact, you could do this and still be accurate. You could absolutely do this and still be accurate. And honestly, I might actually keep it. The only difference is Prot Paladin, way better for rating. Where Vengeance Demon Hunter has higher keys done for sure, Prot Paladin's way better for rating. So this isn't an M+ tier list. This isn't a rating tier list. This is kind of an everything combined. So you could do any one of this and still be completely accurate, and there wouldn't be wrong. These two are so incredibly close. It's just what they're good at is different. Bear. All right, Bear. Bear is interesting. Bear was definitely like, I'm gonna go here. Bear was here. And then they nerfed the tier set into the ground, because the way Blizzard works tier sets is if they see somebody pulling like 150k on a video or a snapshot or whatever form of social media, they're like, oh, that can't happen. Feral, we're going to nerf you into oblivion. And that's what they did. And unfortunately, it brought them down to B tier. Bear is still incredibly tanky. There's nothing I want. I have to say that. Bear is naturally incredibly tanky. But with their tier set, their damage is been reduced some, but not enough. But and right now is a raging week, so guess what? Soothe. You're the only tank with a soothe. Bear is very, very welcome. If you want to play Bear, you're gonna have literally 0 problems in any content of what you're doing. It is a lot of fun to play. If that is the play style that you like, you have lots of incarn. And with the bark skin, the 4-piece, the extra damage and healing that comes out, you can really do a lot of fun stuff with it. But unfortunately, in my opinion, the nerf brought them down from A to B tier. So again, this is my opinion on how I've been viewing the tanks and how they've been working. I would really love to see something a little bit closer together. Honestly, tank balance has never been better. It is absolutely fantastic all around. And if you're just timing 15s, I need to stress this. If you're just going into 15s, if you're just doing heroic raid, and I mean, some people view heroic raid and 15s as much tougher content. True. This tier list has nothing to do with that. This is when you're starting to scrutinize the super high end of play that people are doing and the high-end keys that people are timing, mythic raid, and all of that fun stuff. Until you get to that content, if you're just going in and you're tanking 10s with your friends, any of these are completely 100% suitable. Whichever one's best is whichever one you play best and have the most fun on, and I will stress that into the ground. But aside from that, I hope you guys are enjoying 9.2 as much as I am. Are there any changes that you would like to see to any of these tanks? I know what I would like to see. Buff Bear's damage a little bit and just fix Prot Warrior, but that's not going to happen until 10.0 talents, I guess. But Prot Warrior's historically never good in the first tier of an expansion, so we're going to see what goes on there. Aside from that, I hope you guys are enjoying everything. Let's have a good one, and happy tanking.